What's going on, people? Welcome to episode number 100. So this is a special. I reached to a milestone. I reached to a milestone of 100 episodes of Latino Vegano. As you guys can see, or you can see, but at least you can hear it. I'm back. I'm back in Houston after a long 3 months in Panama, and I also went to Colombia. And I have so many things to share to you guys. So I wanted to take a special moment to kind of go over a little bit of my experience in Panama in this 100 episode, in Colombia as well, from my perspective now. And I wanted to share it with you guys. So stay tuned. This is episode number 100 of Latino Vegano. And, let's go. All right. Did you like that? Yeah, so I'm testing this new gadget, this new device that I just got. And it's kind of cool because they have a couple options. So, you can laugh at my joke now. Right? And at the same time, I get the opportunity to record this is some amazing sounds and some amazing things with this new device. But anyway, that's for a different episode. So I usually always, go ahead and give you guys a message or something positive for the most part, something that you guys can take and run with it right away, either from a lifestyle standpoint, from a business standpoint, or just from an ethical standpoint also. I try to cover all those elements or even more into that. But today I wanted to talk to you guys about how I went to jail while I was in Panama, and I'm being honest with y'all. And it was it's such a really interesting story because from this story, I have so much to share with you guys, and I'm sure you guys will be wondering what did you do? How did you get in jail? And I'll share the whole story with you guys through this podcast, through this episode, because I think it's convenient that I share with you guys a little bit of what happened. And why and how do I was able to manage. So I wanted to name this episode like I ate vegan while I was in jail, but it doesn't really matter. At that point, the whole situation was very interesting how it happened and how I was able to manage to just stay consistent. But there's so much learning out of that experience that I want to share with you guys, that there's so much value that you guys can take, and then there's so much opportunity to kind of talk about several things that actually were very important for me while I was in that stay in jail for several days. But I think before I even go further into the story, I need to start from the beginning, like what happened and how this happened. So before that, you guys know that I was recently in Panama, went back home, went to my hometown. Even prior to going to Panama, I went to Colombia, to Bogota, to the capital of Colombia. I stayed there for a week. It was an amazing experience. I met a lot of good people. I ate some really great vegan food. And on top of that, I also did a lot of tourism, saw a lot of places. So it was a wonderful experience. So I was in Colombia for about a week. And then from there, I went to Panama, and I decided to stay for quite some time. And it's been a while that I have been back in Panama for that long. I left Panama back in 2004, moved to the U.S. So it's been almost 18, 19 years I've been living in the U.S. now. And since I left Panama, I haven't been back to it for such a period of time. I would be, short trips, smaller trips that I've been going back and forth, see my family and whatnot. But for this time, I decided to stay a little longer than usual. So this trip, I did this trip, and I did it right exactly by around November, when this was my dad's birthday, and I decided to stay there for quite some time. And so basically, So basically, when I was there, I decided to say, well, you know what? I'm gonna stay in November, which is my dad's birthday, and I will stay a little longer to December, which is my birthday, and then I'm gonna actually cross over to January, which is my mom's birthday, and I should be back into US. But I ended up staying all the way till March, just recently. So the question was like, why you stay that long? And there was several reasons. There's so many things that I had to share, but I'm gonna focus this time on sharing you guys my experience on going to jail, and and this is a situation that I think I definitely had to share with you guys, because it is, you can take it as many ways. You can take it as a negative situation. You can take it as a positive situation, and I think all things happen for a reason, right? We have control of the things that we can do, and then at the same time, it allows me to spin through the situation and see the flip side of it, right? So back in before I left Panama, back in 2000, and what year was that? 2004. So it was 2003. 2003. So a year before I left Panama, I opened a business with my business partner, right? So I graduated school in 2002. I graduated my master's degree in 2002, and then I just got laid off from a 5-6 years company that I was working for. They gave me a pretty nice settlement check back then, and I took some of that money and opened a business. So I got some business partner. We opened a business. We opened a business in a province of Panama, which is about an hour away from Panama City. For those people that don't know, it's the name of the province is Colón, which is right by the Atlantic side of the Atlantic coast of Panama, right? So if you don't know Panama is one of the countries, if not the only country, that you can actually go from the Atlantic to the Pacific, a little nugget there, in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, no more than 2 hours. You can get from one coast to the other coast. We had that luxury. So anyway, so I'm here in Panama, and so I'm here opening a business, and we opened a store. It was a boutique. It was a boutique store. We sell clothes and CDs and stuff like that, mostly aimed to like an urban store, right? So it kind of hip hop, reggae kind of vibes type of store, Caribbean-ish type of store. This is very common for our culture. So I opened the store, and I remember that for a lot of the time I was being very hands-on with my business partner. We were staying there for a long period of time, helping out, putting the business together, and so on and so forth. Getting all the marketing, all the merchandise together. So we were doing a lot of that prep work, right? And I remember that it was kind of like when you have a business like that, I was gonna stay actually in the business, like sleeping in the business. So literally, I was like so in tune. So I was staying in the back because there was a store in the front, and there was kind of like a small room on the back. So I was staying in the back, sleeping on the mattress. I used to wake up early, open the business, get things done, handle things, and then at night I just used to close the business and sleep in the back. I wasn't even going home. So for that time, I actually moved to this province, to this place. So I was staying there for a while. And anyway, and let me go back. So even before I opened the store, the first night of us being ready to open, to launch, to just open the doors for the first time, it was a Friday. We decided my business partner and I decided to go out and get a blender. I remember that clearly, like, let's go get a blender, because we can not only use it to make breakfast, but we can also make it to make smoothies for our customers and whatnot. So all that was pretty much our plan. So we closed this, we finished prepping the store. It was a Friday night. It was not dark yet, so it was about 5 o'clock. I want to say 4:30, 4 o'clock, and we left the store. We closed this. It was not even open yet, but we closed the store. we left and we decided to take my car because I had a car back then and drive to a close by store, just to kind of like a Walmart type, to pick up a blender. And we got pulled over by cops. So it was there was several of them, right? I counted like about 5 or 6 cops, and they asked us to step off the car, like get off the car, and they started searching me, and they started searching my business partner. This is back in 2003, okay? So they searched me, they searched my business partner. They didn't find anything on off, of course. They searched my business partner, and they started searching my vehicle. So they searched my vehicle. I think like 3 or 4 cops searching my vehicle. And then I think cops number 5 or number 6, one of those, suddenly found something in my car. He said, hey, there's some drugs here. There's some marijuana, basically. He says he found marijuana in my vehicle. And at this point, I'm like, that's not mine. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't use drugs. I mean, I'm vegan because I went vegan in 2002 for people that don't know. So this happened in 2003. So I was already 1 year vegan, right? Being vegan had nothing to do with what I'm saying is like I don't do any of those things. So that's not mine. So then I asked my business partner if it was his, and he said, no, that's not mine either. So at that point I said, well, that's not mine. So I mean, obviously his has to be a setup. And then of course the cops didn't like that. They felt disrespected for saying that. But then they were like, well, we had to take you into investigation, blah blah blah. So they took my car. They took us to like the closest or the nearest police station. So here's the thing, guys. When you this is so simple. Like the only thing they needed to do was they needed to grab my driver's license and they just put it in the system. They just put my social security number or my cellular for people that understand what I'm talking about. My ID basically, and then all my entire record will be able to show it up. If I'm clean, I'm clean, right? So this is as simple as it sounds. That's all they needed to do. They did that. They didn't find nothing on me, of course. They didn't find nothing on my business partner either. But they still locked us up. So this is the first time I'm in the cell, like in the jail cell, literally. Like they call this detention or prevention, however they want to call it, because it's like a pre-sale, it's pre-jail basically. Like they lock you in there before they take you to the big jail, which is, I mean, it's still horrible. It's a horrible place to be, right? I mean, to me, you basically stripping away my privacy, you stripping away everything that I got, right? Because of who knows what, some stupid stuff. There was really no reason for me to be in that situation back then, okay? So the cop said that I got drugs on me, whatever. That's not true. I'm saying that it's a lie, that it's not true, blah, blah, blah. They still locked me in. They got me in there it was a Friday, right? Because I told you guys that it was a Friday when that happened. So they said, well, you're going to have to stay here because the judge didn't come till Monday. That was the reason. Oh, you have to stay here because the judge didn't come till Monday, and then Monday we'll figure it out. So that was their excuse. So literally, they kept me there all weekend because they said that the judge was not available until Monday. Okay? So we stayed there. I had my other business because I had 2 business partners. We called him, and a couple of the friends came through, and they were just staying there, trying to give us more support, trying to see if they can get us out. But there's really nothing that they can do. So we stayed there the entire weekend until Monday. They let us out. They gave me back my car, my driver's license. They had me sign some paperwork, and it was it. Go on my way, and that was the end of it, right? So that happened in 2003. So here I am. I'm like, man, this is a dumb situation. Oh, and then what happened is like 4 months later, I had to close the business because I got some robbery came through my business one day, and they took everything. So I closed the business. I closed everything, and I moved back to the city. So at this point, I'm like, wow, my experience here was not very good. I need to do something. I went back to work, and after that, a year later or a couple months later, I moved into America. So this happens to me back in 2003. So when this situation happened, I'm here thinking I need to change my life and all that kind of thing. I never stopped being vegan, never that ever stopped me being vegan. Actually, I got even more profound in my vegan journey. At the same time, for a lot of people, I was also learning about myself and learning a lot of things about life and about empowerment and all the different things. But the point is that I dealt with this situation back in 2003. Why did I bring this up now, and why am I sharing this story with you guys? This is a very personal story, because this has everything to do with what I'm going to tell you now. So this has been almost 20 years, right? Almost 20 years. So I've been back to Panama several times, in and out, and everything's been good, whatever. And so this time around, I went back to Panama, and on December 18, right? So that was 3 days after my birthday. I'm actually celebrating my birthday that day. It's December 18. I got pulled over by cops again, and I was told that I needed to go to that I needed to go to. This story is anyway. So that I needed to go to the closest police station because there was I have an order of arrest. I was like, what? Which doesn't really make any sense to me, because how can I have an order of arrest when literally 2 days ago I just went and got so in Spanish the word is récord policivo, which is kind of like my record. They go into my record, to my credit, and then you check to see if you have any type of violation, rule, anything in that line. I just literally did this a day ago or a few days ago, and everything was fine. Nothing came up. So I was kind of concerned that why is this guy saying what this cop is saying, that there was an order of arrest under my name, when I was like, there's nothing that came out of my record. So at this point, I'm very concerned about this whole situation and why this guy is saying that. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go because I had nothing to hide, right? I got nothing to hide. I'm clean. I mean, everything is good. So why am I even tripping? So guys, I ended up going to nearest police station. They took me in, and they literally ended up locking me up again. So I got handcuffed. They put me in the cell, and then they told me that I had to wait till Monday because the judge don't work on weekends. So this is like a deja vu. Like it happened, the same story over again. 20 years later, it just happened again. Like literally the same story. And so I'm like, what's going on? And they was like, yeah, there's an order of arrest, and we have to send you back to Cologne. So the same place that happened 20 years ago, the same situation happened 20 years ago, is the same situation that happening now. Like, this is crazy. Like, what is it about this place? What is it about the situation? Like, what's going on? Like, why do I need to go back to the same place? Like, what is it? So at this point, I wasn't really sure what was going on. I wasn't understanding what was going on. The cops couldn't even tell me. The cops are lying. They're saying all kind of stuff, and I'm not getting any answers. So I ended up calling my parents because somebody had to come pick up the car that I was driving. They ended up coming, and then we ended up calling a lawyer. And I got to give a shout out to my cousin, because my cousin is a lawyer, a really good lawyer. And then she helped me out, but she helped me out a lot initially to try to figure it out what was going on and why were they having me in there for, and what was all the reason. So long story short, guys, they locked me in because basically the government was saying that there was an order of arrest for me due to that I never handled that case back in 2003. I'm like, what do I need to handle? I thought that case was like done. So I was supposedly needed to go to court for that case because they found that amount of marijuana in my vehicle, and at the same time, I declared that it was my responsibility since it was in my car. But at the same time, I stated in the declaration that it was not mine. So since I said that, they wanted me to take me to court, so somebody be responsible of that drug that they found. So then, this is the thing, guys. Supposedly, they found that in my vehicle, and they say that I made myself responsible of that. But at the same time, the amount they found was like 0.5 grams, and then the legal amount of marijuana you can use for personal use like 2 grams. So I'm here saying you guys are really bugging out for literally pulling me over, locked me in the whole weekend, my birthday weekend, 20 years later, for 0.5 grams of marijuana. Like, this don't even make no sense. I told you back then that I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. And I'm telling you the same thing right now. I don't smoke, don't drink, or do drugs, and I'm vegan. So what are you talking about? Like, this is not acceptable. So I went back to jail December 18th, 2022. I'm sorry. December 18th, December 18th, 2021. I went back to Yale for supposedly me possession of marijuana. I guess that was the supposedly thing that I did wrong, I guess, right? So I went back to Yale for that, and since I needed to wait till Monday for the judge to be available, I stayed in prison for the whole weekend again. So this is one of those situations that you like, what's going on? Like, why? You ask so many questions, right? So I was like, all right. I was trying to stay calm. And during that time, like, how do I survive? Because this is just another episode. I'm going to share that in a different episode. You guys would like me to share what did I do? How was my experience while I was in jail? And what happened at the end? I just wanted to keep it short, But what I think I wanted to tell you guys is that this is the second part of this story. And then this is a longer even story. And I will share it with you guys if you guys would like me to share it. But the point is that there was a lot of injustice, of course. It was happening to me. But I think it could have happened to a better person because I don't know how nobody else would have handled it, I mean, I came alive. I came successful from all of that situation. And not only that, but at the same time, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about me. I learned about people. I learned about awareness. Nothing can make me change the way I think and the way I believe and the things I do. Only people can make you change if you will allow them to change you. But nobody can. When I'm sticking to my ground and saying that that's not mine and asking God of the universe that, hey, get me out of this because I didn't do anything, and then that's exactly how it happened. So I learned a lot about this experience. I learned a lot about myself. How do I control myself? How do I control situations? How do I feel about situation? How do I let the situation determine who I am? So I was able to manage a lot of those things and came through and it worked out for me. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. And again, if you got an interest in hearing second part, what happened, how do I got out, just let me know, and I will share you guys in another episode how I was able to manage this situation and went to jail, and I still remain big, of course, and I didn't even flinch, and I didn't lose my cool, and I maintained all my optimism all the way to the end. All right. Well, thank you guys. If you haven't heard the podcast, please subscribe. Don't forget about us. This helps us a lot to reach to a lot of more people. And I can always tell you guys, love, peace, be good. See you guys later.